Hey guys, welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. I'm your host Kelly Pally, and today we're counting down the top 10 dumbest Marvel superheroes. Now I know we have done a lot of other lists counting down the dumbest of the dumb, but for this one we tried to touch on characters we haven't really explored before. Plus it feels as if Marvel's a bit better than DC when it comes to hiding the more embarrassing heroes of their past. Before I jump into this list, I just want to let you guys know that we do have another channel called Top 10 Gaming that's pretty darn new and it's pretty darn great. So if you guys love lists about video games, make sure you hop on over there and subscribe and you can see some more fun lists from all of us over here. So let's jump right in. And at number 10 is Leech. So at first I was like, oh, Leech is like the poor man's Groot. Dollar store Groot. But look at that expression. He also refers to himself in third person. And he's kinda dumb. But really, I think he might just be tragic. So he grew up in the sewers of Manhattan and speaks broken English and is always depicted as being really young. He was orphaned as a toddler, his parents left him to die when his mutations became apparent. Yeah. So what can he do? Well, he can suppress, neutralize, and negate the powers of mutants in close proximity to him. Which then I was like, whoa, that's super cool. And then I realized how he's portrayed in the X-Men films. Yeah, he's that kind of annoying bald kid Kitty Pryde has to save in The Last Stand. What happened to making him green and cool? Nah, he's just some kid who eventually grows hair by the end of the film. Lame. And at number 9 is Dazzler. Here's a mutant who was inspired by a cross promotion with Casablanca Records and supposed to be modeled after Kiss. Yep, Dazzler was always set up for failure. She's a trained singer, specifically with disco, an actress and a dancer. But wait guys, she's also a quadruple threat, because she's also a highly accomplished roller skater. So what are Dazzler's superpowers aside from rocking the roller derby? Well, she's got the ability to convert sound into light beams of various forms and intensity, because that'll save the day. And at our next number is a dude who looks like he's trying real hard, Captain Ultra, aka Griffin Gogol. Griffin is a plumber who was tricked by an old man who couldn't pay his bill. The old man was a psychologist who offered to cure his smoking habit instead, but in the process of the hypnosis, he unleashes Griffin's superhuman potential, because it was deeply hidden within his psyche apparently. Okay. He goes around tapping into his ultra potential, which basically gives him the exact same powers as Superman. Gotcha. Best part is, the hypnosis did kind of work. He becomes extremely afraid of fire, to the point where when someone tries to light a cigarette, he will usually faint if he sees the flame. So hey villains, just bring matches to your fight. And at number 7 is Awesome Android. Awesome Android started off as a villain and then, well, kinda just became a dude with superpowers who did stuff? So first off, this is what he looks like. Alright, keep that visual in your mind. So Awesome Android started off as an AI that Mad Thinker created based on Mr. Fantastic. And I guess he's like, okay cool, let's name him Awesome Android cause he's real dope. I don't know. But turns out the life of crime and villainy wasn't something AA was up for. That is what I'm calling him now, because his name is silly. He eventually rebels against Mad Thinker and goes to the law firm Goodman, Lieber, Kreutzberg, and Holloway. And he seeks legal aid, which works out. But then he starts working there and wears a tie and looks like this. Need I say more? And at number 6 is US good old American hero inspired by the love of trucking and trucks and truck culture, which is exactly what all comic book readers wanted to read about in 1983 according to the team of geniuses over at Marvel. US felt like an overdramatic hero consumed by the tragedies that come with 18-wheelers. Plus his brother was murdered by a trucker known as the Highwayman, who sold his soul to the devil for his truck. Actually a thing. And this was the accident that gave him his one power. The ability to pick up transmissions because of a metal plate in his head. Great for a job in broadcast, but probably kinda bad for a superhero. And at number 5 is 3D Man. 3D Man was an homage to Joe Simon and Jack Kirby's character Captain 3D, who would have made this list if he were a Marvel character. And he was supposed to be a commentary on the contemporary societal themes back in the 70s, despite his adventures taking place in the 50s. So this character consists of two brothers, or technically one that makes the other one a superhero. So there's one named Chuck who, after being exposed to radiation, became a 2D image imprinted on the lenses of his glasses. Sucks. And his handicapped brother Hal, who wore those glasses. When Hal concentrated real hard, he triggered a dimensional shift, causing Chuck to materialize into this hero. But eventually Hal got bored and stopped wearing the glasses, which left Chuck to float around in another dimension. Talk about brotherly love. And at number 4 is Orca. So Orca technically started off as a supervillain, having a tendency to fight with Marvel's aquatic loving hero, Namor. So what can this dude do? Well, he's an Atlantean and has all those Atlantean perks, but he also used to wear a belt that would let him control killer whales. Yes, he could use killer whales to beat the shit out of his enemies. He would communicate with them via high-pitched whistles. Eventually he joined the Heroes for Hire after the events of Civil War, but his career as a hero didn't last too long. He's killed by one of Dr. Doom's robotic copies, a Doombot, but at least he got to hang out with killer whales. And at number 3 is Birdbrain. I almost feel bad for Birdbrain. Look at him. I mean, his claws say death, but his expression screams needy for friendship. So Birdbrain was created by an insane geneticist named Annie Mator, who would make all of his creations endure some pretty cruel experiments. Birdbrain escapes Annie Mator's island, though, and manages to befriend the New Mutants. They try to assimilate him into regular society, which his eating habits don't really help. He has zero willpower in the hunger department. And he feels guilt for leaving Annie Mator's island and his other creations there, so he and the New Mutants go back to free them all. Oh, what a wholesome story. Doesn't change the fact that he's terrifying to look at. And at number 2 is Speedball. First off, dumb name. You guys know what a speedball is, right? It's cocaine mixed with either heroin or morphine. Yeah. Good hero name. Definitely inspirational. Alright, so Robbie Baldwin became Speedball after an accident at Hammond Research Laboratory where scientists try to tap into a mysterious other dimensional energy force. He's bombarded by that energy and finds himself surrounded by energy balls and is already clad in a costume. Convenient. He generates kinetic energy, calls himself Speedball, and eventually discovers that a cat named Niels, who was also present at the time of the accident, has the same powers. Since Speedball tries to catch this cat, hoping that studying it will give him better control of his powers. Then renames it Hairball. Dude, get more creative. Like, you could call your cat anything. Hairball? Really, why not stick with Niels? And finally at number 1 is Frogman. First appearing in Marvel Team Up 121 in 1982, Frogman is the son of a retired supervillain named Leapfrog. Wearing Daddy Dearest's costume, he immediately becomes the butt of jokes, with his success in capturing villains usually being due to sheer luck. Despite his shortcomings, Frogman was all set to join the Defenders, but his father wasn't having any of that. So much so that he dragged him home, publicly humiliating Frogman in front of not only the team, but also in front of the media. Oh, also worth noting, Frogman has no powers. Just electrical coils in his suit that lets him leap far, which is surely useful against all those supervillains who can fly and do other immensely powerful things with their powers, right? Yeah. There we have it, friends. What Marvel superheroes do you think are dumb? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know. And hey, if you want us to do a part 2 of this list, let us know that too. And make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons in case you want to see more nerdy lists. But for now, I'm Kelly Pally for Top 10 Nerd, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.